social slime, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air, fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one thinks countries lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear, fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one thinks countries lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on UCY.tv. And it is Tuesday, August the 2nd, I guess. And we are just slip-sliding away. And we need to... I know people are waking up, but we got to get going a little quicker. Here in Canada now, we got this guy, this dickweed, this PM Uppet, this globalist little twit called Justin Trudeau, who's our Prime Minister, CEO of the company called Canada, who likes to hang out at pride parades, and he likes to take his young children there to watch the shenanigans going on. This guy is a complete airhead, a complete fool, and he's completely friggin' dangerous to every man, woman, and child on these lands known as Canada. First things first, they ought to take him away somewhere and do a mental assessment of him, because they may not find a mind, because he's an airhead. That's all that's inside between his ears is a bunch of freaking air. And, I mean, you can see the strings off his clothes. I mean, little puppet boy. And the people of these lands had better bloody well wake up to some simple realities, okay? None of these people do or ever have represented the people. It goes for the folks of the United States, Australia, Britain, pick a country, and it's the same stupid game. Okay, they don't represent you, they never represented you, and they're never going to represent you. So we need to change things out. These are not governments, they are companies. The laws, their rule of law is not law. Okay, it is quasi-law, if you will, but it's most definitely not law. Okay, and that's what it's not. It's corporate bylaws, of which, when they got your mother to sign you over to them, you became a thing. You became an asset of the corporation, and you're a slave. You're a corporate freaking slave. That's the easiest way to put it. And because you're bound by the by the corporate rules, regulations, and statutes, that's what you're bound by, has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with law. If it had something to do with law, they would have called it the law system, not the frickin' legal system. How simple is that? Anyways, Tort Boy here, Mr. I like hanging out at freak parades, has announced that the Liberal government will change the manner in which a Supreme Court justice is selected. As part of the new process, Trudeau says former Prime Minister Kim Campbell will be the chair of a new independent, nonpartisan advisory board. You got to watch that word board, okay? Because this is what they do. They set these boards up, okay? And that is the book again. If you're listening for the first time or you haven't looked up the book yet, and I am guilty of not getting through the whole book yet, I haven't had time. But the fact of the matter is, a Chief Justice in England in 1929, the same year of the big financial crash, wrote a book called A New Despotism. This is exactly what he's talking about, administrative law, which is not law at all. Okay, administrative law, again, is corporate law. Okay, it's administration of the corporation. They set up all these boards and stuff. While they set them up, they're not responsible for them. Okay, and that way they get to do all kinds of tricky-ass stuff and then say they're not responsible. Now, Kim Campbell was the Prime Minister of Canada from, I think it was June to November. I forget what year it is. We're going to find out here. I think it may have been 98, maybe. I don't know. We'll check that out as we go through this. Anyways, so he's appointed Kim Campbell will chair the new independent nonpartisan advisory board to recommend candidates for the High Court. In a letter published Tuesday in the Globe and Mail, Trudeau writes that the new appointment process will be open, transparent, and will set a higher standard for accountability. Horse's ass. Okay, this is about international law. Okay, that's all this is about. One law, one world, one religion, one big slave plantation. Okay, so how the Supreme Court is dismantling one of the key parts of Stephen Harper's legacy, which was the conservative and or, if you're stateside, Republican clown. Anyways, he said this is Trudeau again, he said the application process will be open so any Canadian lawyer or judge who fits such criteria as being functionally bilingual can apply for the High Court. Once a candidate has been selected, writes Trudeau, members of Parliament will be able to directly engage with the nominee before she or he is appointed to the Supreme Court. Now, you got to understand, everybody in the Parliament has taken an oath to serve who? You? No. The Queen. And what is the Queen? The Queen is at the apex of the political and legal systems, which is the corporate system. That's who they pledged their oath to. Because Canada's a freaking corporation. Period. There's no discussion on this. Okay? This is real. Climate change, when they says no more debate, debate's closed. Well, there is no debate because climate change is completely phony, of course. This, on the other hand, is completely real. Okay? None of these people represent or work on behalf of anybody on these lands, except the ones who take an oath to serve the corporation. And that's a fact. So they make it sound like it's open and transparent, and then go to where the nominee directly engages with the Parliament, or vice versa, before he or she is appointed to the Supreme Court. So you say, oh, that's good. So instead of somebody just appointing, like the Chief Justice appointing a judge, and it's always about this partisan stuff, right? You know, loading up the Supreme Court with friends, people of the same political stripe. So now it's going to be all open and transparent. There's nothing open about it. There's nothing transparent about it. Okay? It's a this is a rebranding of the same horse crap. Just another deflection, look over here while we're doing this over there. Don't you feel better? We're going to be transparent now? Don't be conned. The board, to be chaired by Campbell, will have 7 members. 4 will be designated by the Canadian Judicial Council, the Canadian Bar Associates, and Federation of Law Societies, and the Council of Canadian Law Deans. The remaining 3 will be prominent Canadians, internationalists. Those are hooked to the United Nations. Okay? That's who they're going to be. The remaining 3 will be prominent Canadians, at least 2 of whom will be from outside the legal community, appointed by Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould. Gone are the days of governments, liberal and conservative alike, nominating Supreme Court justices through a secretive backroom process, wrote Trudeau. Canadians deserve better. Yeah, we do deserve better, you twit. We deserve a little bit of truth once in a while, but that ain't ever going to come to us. Now, Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould is a member of the Privy Council, and these people in the Privy Council take an oath of secrecy for life to the Queen Crown Corporation. Kim Campbell, who was the Prime Minister, is a member of the Privy Council. Justin Airhead Trudeau is a member of the Privy Council. So it's going to be open and transparent, run by people who have taken a life oath of secrecy to the Queen Crown Corporation. Now that sounds mighty much better than the old way, doesn't it? That just sounds so freaking transparent. Well, geez, I could almost see through it, huh? I can see through it. It's a complete crock of nonsense. Now these papers know, these freaking newspapers know exactly what's going on, but they're going to tell you, hell no. You know, there was an old guy way back in 1800s or whatever, I forget what his name is now, and he'd been with some major newspapers, and they were giving him a send-off or whatever when he's retiring or whatever. And he just simply told those people attending that, we are the prostitutes of the rich men. If we would dare print our opinion, we would find ourselves on the street in the morning unemployable in this industry. Nothing could be more true than that. The entire media as a lying bunch of dogs. All of these people have sold their souls, and they run our lives. Are we stupid? We must be. Anyways, here's somebody, I'm just going to read a couple of comments here before we slide on over to see how Kim's doing, Kim Campbell. See, the other problem people think up here and in the States and Australia and everywhere else, they think that once someone is voted out, especially a high-end politician, that they just go back to private life. They just kind of disappear. Nothing could be further from the truth. These people have sold their freaking souls, and they're working for the same goal. And it's a mighty nefarious goal. You know, Rockefeller said, some people accuse me of being an internationalist. Well, if that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I'm proud of it. Okay? You don't have a country, people. Okay? You just don't have a country. So drop the damn flags. Quit singing the stupid anthems. Or at least if you do sing it, understand you're singing a corporate anthem. Oh, Canada. Oh, Corporation Canada. We stand on guard for you. Bullshit. Why would we stand on guard for a corporation that's turned us into slaves? That's pretty stupid. Why would you sing a song like that? It makes no sense. And we got to come to a frickin' senses here pretty damn soon. He was elected, this is what Judy McLean Hengser says, he was elected on the promise of hope and change. He is hoping we allow him to completely change the face of Canada. Well, it's not changing. It's just being rebranded. That's all that's going on. Okay, it's always been a corporation. Being complacent, says Kyler Sullivan, being complacent is what ruins a country. Just because we are one of the best does not mean we are anywhere near perfect, though I agree he is introducing too much bloat to the government with all these new councils, committees, ministers that do pretty much the same thing as we did before. That, again, is the new despotism. Okay? People need to read that book so they get some kind of a clue of what their governments really are. And that was written by a Chief Justice way back in 29, warning us what the hell was coming. Not a whole lot different than 1984. That was a warning. It wasn't a fictional book. It was a straight-in-your-face freaking warning. And Mark Wilt says, well, voters did elect that lizard wearing a human suit, Harper, so I guess anything is possible. Let's see. Valerie Wright says, we will be happy when our Prime Minister starts looking after us Canadians instead of giving away billions of our hard-earned tax dollars to other countries. He might look good on the world stage, yet Canadians are getting poorer. Well, yeah, that's the plan. That's the United Nations plan. That's the globalist plan. Okay? It's about redistribution of wealth. Your wealth's going out of your pocket into somebody else's pocket. The problem is most of that money gets picked off before it ever gets to where they say it's going. Okay, they're redistributing the wealth, but they're redistributing the wealth to the wealthy and to the NGOs and to those outfits who are working to suppress and destroy you. You know, the Prime Minister, Mr. Airhead Trudeau, gave $785 million of global fund. Yay, yay, yay. And the papers all printed that up. What a great deal. You know, we're going to put that money towards AIDS and malaria and tuberculosis and all that stuff. $780 million to help those people, those diseases in the part of the world that's having a hard time with those diseases. Now you go to Makati and you look it up. You just punch in Global Fund. There's the Global Fund, and what do you see? You see a direct line up to the Clinton Foundation. So the Global Fund is a funder of the Clinton Foundation with $785 million of your hard-earned, future hard-earned, because they borrowed the money. They ain't got no money, so they borrow the money, which you're going to pay compound interest on for bloody ever, and you're never going to pay off that $85 million, but then it's being siphoned off up to the Clinton Fund. And if that don't piss people off, I don't know what will. Something's got to piss them off at some point. Duh. You know, there's this movie, and I'm gonna talk about this on a different show. But I was over at a friend's place, and he was watching this movie. So what the hell is this? And this tells you how many movies I watch, right? It's Matthew McConaughey, who I have no clue who Matthew McConaughey is. Apparently he's done a lot of movies. I understand he's a big star. But I don't watch many movies. I'm too busy doing other things to be watching some movie. But, you know, movies are never made except for a reason, okay? To push something. That's why they make them. They're not for your entertainment. Okay, they're either to drive a message into your brain or to tell you what they're up to. That's what movies are made for. Okay, and you keep shelling out money to go to these damn movies. Oh, it was a really good movie. Boy, Matthew, you did a real good job in the movie. Or whoever the actor or actress is, the stars. Look to the stars. Don't look around, just look to the stars. Man, we've been conned so bad. You know, we quit going to movies, me and my wife, when, you know, we understood what the movies were and we couldn't get through the movie. We understood what we were watching, and we're looking at the reactions of the audience. And they don't have a clue what they're watching. It got impossible to sit in the movie theater anymore. Sitting there with these complete boneheads, not getting even close to a grip what they're being told in these movies. So we just quit going. But anyways, this movie's called Free State of Jones. I guess it's a new movie. It's a 2016 American film. Now, I'm just going to touch on this real quick, and then we're going to go back to Kim Campbell and Justin Trudeau, and we're going to explain a little bit of how this operates. Anyways, in this movie I'm watching, okay, there's a couple of scenes in there that are very, very important. And I'm not sure why the movie was made. I don't know if it's directed at the people that are getting pissed off. I don't know if it's directed at the sovereign citizen movement. I do know that they want people to start shooting. Okay? They want you guys to start shooting. Don't do that, because that's what they want. You do not give them what they want. Period. If you give them what they want, you've given them power over you. So do not give it to them. Anyways, in that movie, Jones is talking to his group of people, and he's talking to a black guy. And he says to the black guy, "Are you a nigger?" And the black guy looks at him and goes, "No, I'm not a nigger." "Then what are you?" This is so damned important. He looks at Kanye and he says, "I am a man, a child of God." You see, you can't buy and sell a man. Okay? And the deal was, we're not animals. You buy and sell animals, but you can't buy and sell a man. But we were warned, do not be deceived, for if you are deceived, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, if you are deceived, you will be as cattle, chattel, slaves. Okay? Which is just another word for nigger. Okay? And you are all niggers. I don't care. I don't care if you got a really nice pool in your backyard and a Mercedes in your frickin' driveway. You, my friend, are a nigger. You're just as much a nigger as a poor son of a bitch sitting down on the street with no food, nowhere to live. Okay? But yous are all niggers. And you better get that through your thick skulls, because the legal system turned you into a nigger. It turned you into a slave on the corporate plantation. All they're doing now is they're gathering these plantations together, okay, into a world plantation, a world of absolute slavery, where they control every aspect of your life, every piece of food you put in your mouth, everywhere you live, everything you think, period. You are a nigger. And that should piss you off. And if it doesn't piss you off, well, you got something wrong with your mind. And you best get your mind right. And that's fact, Jack. There's another scene in that movie. I missed about a half hour of it in there somewhere. There's another scene in that movie where they come and I don't even remember. I don't know if I don't even remember what the guy's name is in the movie. I'll just call him what's it called here? McConaughey. Anyways, he's in a wagon. There's a black guy in a bad mood, and he's walking across the field, and McConaughey pulls up in the wagon. What's up? They took my son. Okay, they took him to the plantation. That's my boy, right? They said they had a court order, piece of paper, okay, a piece of paper, and that's what's ruling our lives, is paper. Idiots writing garbage on pieces of paper and then us submitting to it. Of course, they have the force of law, right? That's the whole ticket. They got the force of law. It ain't law. It's legal. So anyways, they're going along there, and the black guy's got a shotgun. He's not in a good mood. He's heading to go to the plantation and get his kid back. McConaughey said, "Well, I'll go with you, I guess, but you know what's going to happen, right? They're going to kill your ass, and they're going to arrest me." And the black guy keeps making his point. And, McConaughey says about 3 times in there, he says, "I'll go with you, but they're going to kill you, and they're going to arrest me." So they go ahead out. Black guy gets in the wagon. McConaughey heads out in the field, finds the boy, picks the boy up, runs back to the wagon with the boy. And just as he gets back to the wagon, there's some plantations. Boy, it looks exactly like a chain gang game, right? You know, which it is. These are all slaves, which means you're all niggers. And so they end up in court, and the judge has got, says this law here, yada, yada, yada. The kid was lawfully taken, and yada, yada, yada. And McConaughey keeps butting in on the judge. I have a bad habit of that, too, when I'm in court. I have a very bad habit of butting in on anybody that starts making no sense to me at all. And so the judge is banging his gavel, telling McConaughey to shut up. You're out of order. You get your chance to talk later. McConaughey just says, suck air, stupid, basically. And he looks around at the slave owner, the plantation owner. And he looks over at him and he says, what's it going to take? And he slams some cash down on the table there. And the plantation owner looks at the money. And he said, that seems like a fair situation, or whatever he said. Seems fair. Seems acceptable. So they end up buying the boy back. And that's all you're in. You're in a commercial system. You're all for sale all the time. And you're on the plantation, nigger. People say, well, the black people, they were slaves. Well, so were the white people slaves. There was all kinds of white slaves. A slave is something that's bought and sold like an animal, like you were warned against. And you're all bought and sold, and you're all bound by the corporate law, the plantation law, which means not one of you are free. None of you are free. We better get our act together pretty damn soon. Or it's just going to get ugly. But there's some pretty good history in that movie. It's based on history, I guess. How close to history, I don't know. But I told my friend, have you ever seen that film, Athens, Tennessee, or whatever it's called there? So we found a little 13-minute clip or whatever and run through that. And, that's when the boys came back from the war. In 1946, there was a local election in Athens, Tennessee, and the boys that came back, they knew this thing was completely corrupt. They knew the mayor was corrupt, and the state senator was corrupt, and the sheriff was corrupt. So they decided, screw this. We went to fight for freedom, and we come back to this tyranny. So they decided to run some guys. And it reminded me, as I told my friend, back in 2010, I spent 2 years trying to get people to run for local council. Because that's the only place we got a hope in hell of getting a hold of anything. And when we run, we got to make sure we get the majority vote. We got to get enough people in these councils to get majority vote. You send one guy in there, one gal in there, and she wins, they got one vote, there's nothing going to change. And I heard every damned excuse in the book why I can't run. It was basically the same thing in Athens there when they're trying to put some candidates together. It was really pathetic. Everybody knows it's ugly. Everybody knows this is all fraud. Everybody knows they got you living in Alice in Wonderland. Everybody knows deep down inside they're slaves. Just can't come to terms with it. We best come to terms with it. Anyways, in Athens, Tennessee, they ran some guys, and then the sheriff and hog boss and that, they didn't want to lose, so they went in and shut down the polls and stole the ballot boxes. And one of the guys at the polling station got shot when he didn't want them to take the ballot boxes. So they went down to the armory. The boys that were running, the veterans that were running, went down and got the keys to the armory, loaded up for bear, and went down to the local jail where they had the the ballot boxes. And they ended up blowing up the door, and they finally got the ballot boxes, and they won the election. That's just a small incident. So, that was 1946. The Free State of Jones was from the Civil War on. And so there are instances where people did wake up. There are instances where people say, we are not going to live under this tyranny. We are not going to be plantation workers. So there is hope. We just got to make a decision that this is what we're going to do. None of these people are legitimate, nor have they ever been legitimate. These people you call your so-called government, these asses that you vote for. Okay? And they're all vetted. They all know what's going on. And I've said this before, when I ran for the provincial/state election in 2007, the end of all those all-candidates meetings, the handler for the conservative/Republican candidate come up to me and told me I had a great future in politics if I want it. Told him I don't have a future in politics. Because I'm missing something. He said, I watched you the whole way through this. You ain't missing nothing. You could have a phenomenal future in politics. He says, no, I can't. Why? Because I can't shake somebody's hand and smile at them while I'm lying to them. And this is how sick these people are, because then he says to me, oh, that. Yeah, well, yeah, that. Without skipping a beat, he said, well, if you ever change your mind, I'm telling you, you got a great future in politics. How pathetic is that? How frickin' pathetic is that? That's just the way it is, and we got to get it changed. Because what they got planned for your sorry ass down the road, well, it ain't going to be pretty. Anyways, now we're going to slide over here to Kim Campbell. I got a few minutes here. We're going to slide back over. Who the hell is Kim Campbell? Right? Who the hell is Kim Campbell? I mean, 93. Prime Minister from June to November of 93. Wow. Now, her old man, her dad, was a lawyer. And she became a lawyer, and so on and so forth. And then she went to the London School of Economics, at the University of British Columbia. And she'd spent several years studying the Russian language and was nearly fluent. Okay, because whether people like it or not, I see people yammering on about Putin. Putin's the man. Well, consider every country's a member state of the United Nations, okay? Just deal with that, okay? This is all theater, getting you where they want to get you to. And if you haven't watched America with a K, I highly, highly recommend you go get a copy. It's on YouTube. It's a long old slog. I mean, I'm good. I know what I'm looking for, so I can pound through these things pretty damn fast. But there you have it. You have the Russian flag on the one side, the American flag on the other side, joined together in the middle by the United States or the United Nations flag. You have Warburg in the 1950 Senate hearings say, we can't have a world government with two opposing sides, two major sides opposing one another. That's why the Iron Curtain came down. That's why the Berlin Wall fell. All planned. Now we can start looking for our global government. All we need now is a mechanism, something that is a global problem that can only be solved by a global solution. So a lot of people don't think that this is a Russian takedown of the United States. Okay? What is this? Is a socialist takedown of the world. Okay? So, yeah, Russia is not anybody's friend, never was, never will be. And an awful lot of your so-called stars are up to their arses in this because they're members of Global Green, which is the American offshoot of what the hell was his name? I can't come up with it right now. Anyways, Russian president, leader at one time. What? Gorbachev. Thank you, dear. Okay, so he started the Russian side of this green movement. There's all kinds of American stars who Willie Nelson was a headliner, singing away for the global green. Gorbachev was a signer of the Earth Charter. This was a Rothschild. And who signed America on to Agenda 21? Bush. Sound like something a Democrat would do, wouldn't it? But, right, left boot, right, left wing makes no difference. They're marching you to a place you don't want to get to. They just take turns moving you there. Anyways, back to Campbell here. Let's see what we got here. Russian language, yada, yada, yada. She's a lawyer. Now, she was married to, let's see, I'm gonna buzz around in here. I haven't looked at her in a long time. Okay, Campbell was the unsuccessful British Columbia Social Credit Party, SOCRED, which is socialist, candidate in Vancouver Centre for a seat in the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia in 1983, receiving 12,000 votes, which is 19.3%. She ran unsuccessfully again for the leadership of the BC Social Credit Party in the summer of 96, placing last with 14 votes from delegates. She was elected in October 86 to the British Columbia Legislative Assembly as a SOCRED member for Vancouver Point Grey, getting only 23% of the votes. Let's see. Then she was elected in 88. Let's see, or 86. She was elected the 88 federal election as the member of parliament from Vancouver Centre. She won the party nomination after an incumbent, Pat Carney, declined to stand for renomination. In 89, she was appointed to the cabinet as Minister of State, Indian Affairs, Northern Development. From 1993, she held the post of Minister of Justice and Attorney General, where she oversaw notable amendments to the criminal code in the areas of firearms control and sexual assault. Okay, that's when our firearms nonsense started. That was the taking of the guns, the registration of the guns. But then she's a socialist, and if you're going to take down a country, you certainly don't want an armed bunch of people standing there in front of you. So that's where they started the registration. And having a gun in this country now is a very difficult situation. If you do have a gun, you got to have the gun in one cabinet locked up, then you got to have the bolt in another cabinet, you got a magazine in another cabinet, and you got to have trigger locks on everything. God forbid somebody break in your house, you might as well swing the cabinet at them because you ain't going to get a gun loaded and ready to fire by the time you're in trouble. So let's see what else. 93 was transferred to the posts of Minister of National Defense and Minister of Veterans Affairs. Notable events during her tenure included dealing with the controversial issue of replacing shipborne helicopters for the Navy and for search and rescues, the actions by the Canadian Airborne Regiment and the military scandal known as the Somalia Affair, also first emerged while Campbell was minister. When the Liberal Party of Canada took power, the incident became the subject of a lengthy public inquiry continuing to focus attention on Campbell and the PCs, which are the Progressive Conservatives, which are the Northern Republicans. Okay, so in February 93, Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, who signed us onto Agenda 21. So we had a PC or a conservative/Republican sign us on to Agenda 21, UN Agenda 21. Stateside, we had a Bush sign us on, which is a conservative Republican. So both countries at the same time had right-wing party leaders sign us on to a global socialist situation. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that just special? Okay, so his retirement take effect in June 93. Campbell entered the party leadership race to succeed Mulroney. Campbell had served in 4 cabinet portfolios prior to running for the party leadership, including 3 years as Minister of Justice, and garnered support of more than half the PC caucus, and she was declared for the leadership. She defeated Jean Charest, Liberal, at the, he was, these guys bounce around, because he went to Liberal after that. The Governor General, yada, yada, yada. And so she ended up being the Prime Minister, and then Jean Chrétien came along. There was a quick election, and he won, and he's one of the Queen's little sweethearts, and in the Privy Council as well. So 93, okay, let's forget all this stuff. Election defeat. Okay, here's where we want to get to. I'm going to run my ass out of time here. Damn it. Post-political career. Now, people think once you're voted out, you're gone. Nobody knows anything about you. Okay, this is the problem. She took an oath of secrecy for life, is in the Privy Council, which is the Queen's Council, which is the Corporate Council, which is the Globalist Council. So what's she been at to? Despite her dramatic loss in the election, the Canadian women's magazine, Chatelaine, named Campbell as its Woman of the Year in 93. Okay, because now we got to push the women, right? You look around. The guys are disappearing. The women are moving to the top. We had that Lilith Fair crap with all them girls doing their pagan singing and all that kind of stuff. Same garbage, same thing. It's a movement to move you somewhere you don't want to get to. There was an incorrect rumor that she was to be sent to Moscow as the ambassador to Russia. However, in 96, Campbell was appointed consul general to Los Angeles by the Chrétien government, a post in which she remained until 2000. While she was there, she collaborated with her husband, composer, playwright, and actor Hershey Felder on the production of a musical, Noah's Ark. In 99-203, she chaired the Council of Women Leaders. Women Leaders. Well, let's go see who the hell that is. Okay? It's all international crap. It's all UN crap. The Council of Women World Leaders is a network of current and former women prime ministers and presidents established in 1996 by Vigdis Finnbogadóttir, a former president of Iceland, and Laura Leasewood, Secretary General. The Council's mission is to mobilize the highest level women leaders globally for collective action on issues of critical importance to women. The Council is located in Washington, D.C. Okay, so Secretariat. Let's see, Board of Directors. We have Kim Campbell, this guy from Iceland. I can't pronounce his name. And another one from Lithuania, who's Dali somebody, I can't pronounce his name, and Tara Holanman, President of Finland, Mary Robinson, President of Ireland. Isn't that the one who isn't she the let me go look at this real quick here. Isn't she, she's the President of Iceland, or she was. Okay. All right. Secretariat, Madeleine Albright, founding chair of the Ministerial Initiative, Secretary of State of the United States, 97-2001. Kathy Calvin, CEO, President 2013 to present, the United Nations Foundation. Laura Leasewood, Secretary General. Margaret Wallenstone, chair of the Ministerial Initiative, first vice president of the European Commission. Okay, this is all globalism. Current council members, Gro Harlem Brundtland, who brought us our common future. Let's see, President of Chile, ex-president of Chile, oh no, is the president of Chile still, president of Malawi, president of Switzerland, prime minister of Netherlands, president of Nicaragua, president of Costa Rica, prime minister of Turkey, prime minister of New Zealand, premier of Bermuda, prime minister of France, and it goes on, Mozambique, Switzerland, Australia, Bermuda. So a lot of these people are presently in those positions. A lot of them are not in those positions anymore. But all of these people are pushing for a global government. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, Ireland, Peru, Philippines, Netherlands, Switzerland, Sri Lanka, Croatia, Finland, Argentina, Panama. It just goes on and on and on here. Deceased former members. Whoever was the president of the Philippines, I can't read most of these names. Prime Minister of Pakistan, these are deceased members. Sri Lanka Prime Minister, Ghana Prime Minister, Portugal Prime Minister, and Margaret Thatcher was a member of this thing, President of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Okay? Now you think that these people just go away after they're out of politics. Not a chance. These people are all players taking down your countries without your knowledge, without any media coverage whatsoever, and you don't even see it coming. And the friggin' media sure as hell ain't going to tell you. Okay, what else we got here? A network of women, yada, yada, yada. She was succeeded by former Irish President Mary Robinson. It says Irish president, but then she ended up, it said Iceland, I thought. Mary Robinson. Where did I see this? Irish. It says president of president of Ireland. Okay. But she, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, she's a lawyer. And what did good old Shakespeare say? What is the first thing you do? What's the very first thing you do? Exactly. Dump the lawyers. So she's with the United Nations, World Conference Against Racism in Durban, and corporate social responsibility, yada, 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 yada. So, you can go just look up Kim Campbell and go through these things. So she served as the president of the International Women's Forum, a global organization for women of prominent achievement. So this is another one. We had the Council of Women World Leaders, and now we have the International Women's Forum. Let's go see what this got to say. They don't have an article on that one. Okay. Let's back up then. With headquarters in Washington, D.C. From 2000 to 2004, she lectured at this is Kim Campbell again, the John F. Kennedy School of Government. Center for Public Leadership at the Kennedy School. She served as director of several public traded companies in high technology and biotechnology. Campbell chairs the steering committee of the World Movement for Democracy. Let's go look at that real quick. What is the World Movement of Democracy? They took out Hussein. They took out Libyan leader Gaddafi. Spreading us some democracy. Demonocracy is what it is. Demonocracy, because these are Satanists. Okay? That's what they are. They're lawyers. What was an apprentice attorney doing? He was deviling. What is the legal system? It's adversarial. Look up the word adversary. What word pops up? Satan. Okay? And they call this shit law. And we put up with it. Are we stupid? Must be. But we're getting smarter, so that's the upside. The World Movement for Democracy is an international network of individuals and organizations to share the common goal of promoting democracy. The World Movement was launched in February 1999 when the National Endowment for Democracy, known as NED, and two non-governmental organizations in India brought together a cross-section of democracy activists, practitioners, and scholars from over 80 countries in New Delhi for discussion of ways to enhance democracy. The participants adopted a founding statement launching the world movement to strengthen democracy where it is weak, to reform and invigorate democracy even where it is long-standing, and to bolster pro-democracy groups in countries that have not yet entered into the process of democratic transition. It is intended to unite the global community of democracy advocates and practitioners to facilitate exchanges of information, knowledge, and experience, and to build cross-border solidarity. The World Movement is led by an international steering committee, and NED currently serves as its secretariat. A network of networks, the World Movement has led to the establishment of regional networks, including the African Democracy Forum, the Latin American and Caribbean Network for Democracy, the World Forum on Democratization in Asia, as well as further global networks, including the Global Network on Local Governance and the International Women's Democracy Network, the Network of Democracy Research Institutes, and the World Youth Movement for Democracy. The World Movement has held 5 global assemblies since its founding in New Delhi in 1999, Sao Paulo, Brazil, 2000, Durban, South Africa, in 2004, Istanbul, Turkey, 2006, the Ukraine, 2008, Jakarta, Indonesia, 2010. It has also initiated 2 major projects as a result of assembly discussions. Defending Civil Society project was launched in 2006 in collaboration with the International Center for Non-Profit Law. It's international law. It's not law, it's the legal system. It's the plantation law. It's the corporation law. It's the bylaws of which you have been attached to. Nobody asked you. Nobody hired you. You ain't getting a paycheck. But you're bound to their laws. To respond to efforts among an increasing number of governments to close down civil society space, particularly for democracy and human rights groups, through the new NGO laws and restrictions on international funding. Now, the steering committee on that puppy, we've got Acosta from Mexico. Let's see if we can find some names we even recognize in here. Now, you're always bitching about Iran. Not you, but you see it in the news all the time. Screw Iran. Well, who's the steering committee on the steering committee for the World Movement for Democracy? Iran. Kim Campbell is the chair of the steering committee from Canada. We got Australia, the Philippines, Poland, Gambia, China, United States, United Kingdom. Let's see, maybe Esther Dyson. I don't know who that is from the United States. Carl Gershman, ex officio, United States. Let's see, we got Portugal, South Africa, Indonesia, Egypt, Jordan, Kenya, Zimbabwe. Right now, a lot of these places have been getting bombed. India, Ukraine, Brazil, Venezuela, Russia, Haiti, Netherlands, and Kazakhstan. And so there's a whole bunch. There's a founding statement, networking links in here. So you can get all of this stuff just by punching in Canada. I was a prime minister for 3 months or 4 months. Kim Campbell. And go through her Wikipedia, and there's all kinds of links here. She served on the board of the International Crisis Group. Who the hell are they? Is this stuff taught to the kids in school? No, they're taught how to stick a dildo up their ass at the age of 3. They're taught to be good citizens and show respect for all these self-identifying weird genders they're coming up with. The International Crisis Group is a transnational, non-profit, non-governmental organization founded in 1995 that carries out field research on violent conflict and advances policies to prevent, mitigate, or resolve conflict. It advocates policies directly with governments, multilateral organizations, and other political actors, as well as the media. The International Crisis Group was founded after a chance meeting in January 1993 between former U.S. diplomat and the then president of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, Morton A. Ambrowitz, and then future World Bank Vice President Mark Brown on a flight to Sarajevo. So they're on a plane, hey, Mort. What are you saying, Mark? Well, I got an idea here. Why don't we set this shit up? Hey, no problem. No problem. Anyways, the international community difficulty responding to the Bosnian War provided the catalyst for an independent organization that would serve the world's eyes and ears on the ground in countries in conflict and pressing for immediate action. George Soros was involved in discussions early on and provided seed money. Disaster relief specialist Fred Curry made significant contributions to disaster relief in Bosnia and was brought on board later that year, though participation was cut short by his death. Hopefully a bullet to the back of the frickin' head. In November 1994, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace announced plans for a crisis group, while former Congressman Stephen J. Solars toured foreign capitals to promote the new organization and raise funds, gaining early support from Marty, President of Finland, and Garth Evans, former Minister of Australia, and Bernard Kouchner, founder of, I can't say that either, it's in French, I guess, and future French Foreign Minister. January 1995 meeting in London brought many international figures together and approved a proposal for an annual budget of $8 million and 75 full-time staff. In mid-1995, it was formally registered in the U.S. as a tax-exempt, non-profit organization, just like the Foundation, just like the frickin' Rockefeller Foundation and all the rest of these clowns that are putting seed money in and creating these damned NGOs and that. And this goes back to that book, which everybody got to go read, which is The New Despotism. It's really simple. Google the damn thing, download it, and start reading it. Following the death of first President Nicholas Hinton in January 1997, his replacement, Alain Destidex, Christ Group moved its headquarters from London to Brussels, yada, 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 yada. So, okay, the purpose, there's a purpose. I ain't got time for it. I'm out of time. But there's more links in here. There's the Forum of Federations, the East-West Institute, the International Center of Study for Radicalization and Political Violence at the King's College London. There's Foundation for Effective Governance, an NGO formed in September 2007 with the aid of businessman Reinat Akhmedov. That sounds like a Russian. It just goes on here, man. So look it up. Look up Ken Campbell. Go through some of this stuff. The election in the United States is not of any importance whatsoever. Forget about it. And take care, everybody else back.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they war. They shoot, they kill.